There's a version of you that almost no one has met. You laugh, you show up, you seem fine. People would say they know you well. They don't, not really. But the real things stay behind a door you rarely open. Today, we're going to understand what people who don't open up are actually hiding. One, they have already imagined you pulling away. Before they tell you anything real, they have already played it out in their head. They picture your face changing. The small pause before you answer. The way the conversation might get a little colder afterward, the way you might look at them slightly differently from then on. And usually, somewhere in that quiet rehearsal, they decide it isn't worth it. This isn't paranoia. It's a kind of forecasting they learned a long time ago, in moments where being honest didn't go well, where they shared something soft and watched it get brushed aside, or laughed at, or used against them later, where they handed someone a real piece of themselves, and that person didn't seem to notice the weight of what they'd been given. So now the mind runs the simulation first. It checks for danger before the heart is even allowed to speak. By the time the words reach their mouth, 3 different versions of how it could go wrong have already played out. The strange part is, they're not protecting a secret. They're protecting the small, fragile hope that this time, maybe, it would have been safe to say it. They just can't quite let themselves believe that yet. Not all the way. 2, they learned their feelings were inconvenient. Somewhere early on, they got the message that their emotions were a problem to manage, not something anyone wanted to sit with. Maybe a parent was already overwhelmed, already stretched too thin to hold one more thing. Maybe sadness in the house meant trouble, so they learned to be the easy one, the calm one, the kid who didn't add weight to a room that was already heavy. You learn fast. When you're young, what makes the people around you relax? And if your quiet made things easier, you became quiet. If your needs made someone sigh, you learned to have fewer of them. That doesn't switch off in adulthood. It just goes underground and keeps running. So when something hurts now, the first instinct isn't to reach out. It's to handle it before anyone notices. To feel it alone in the car or late at night, and then walk back in, already composed, already fine, already easy to be around. They're not cold. They were just trained, gently and without anyone ever meaning to believe that their inner world was a burden other people shouldn't have to carry. And somewhere along the way, they started believing it themselves. That if they ever did let it out, it would be too much and someone would have to deal with it. 3, they're not hiding facts. They're hiding needs. People assume someone who doesn't open up is sitting on some big secret, a hidden past, a dramatic story they don't want anyone to find. Most of the time, it's much quieter than that. What they're actually hiding is need, the fact that they wanted someone to ask, that they were lonely in a room full of people who liked them, that there was a night they really could have used a hand and didn't ask and got through it alone and never told a single soul it had even happened. That's the truth that feels too exposing to say out loud. Because admitting a fact is one thing. Admitting that you needed someone and they weren't there makes you feel small in a way that's hard to come back from. It puts the soft, unmet part of you right out in the open. So they keep it folded up and tucked away. Not because it's shameful, because it's tender, and tender things get protected. You don't realize this about them, but the silence isn't full of secrets. It's full of moments they survived without anyone knowing they needed saving. Every closed door has a quiet history like that behind. If that one landed, the next few usually hit a little closer. 4, silence feels safer than being misunderstood. For them, there's something worse than not being heard. It's being half heard, saying something honest and watching it get reshaped into something they didn't mean at all. Being told they're overthinking it, being comforted for the wrong thing entirely, while the real thing sits there, still untouched, now somehow harder to say. When you felt that enough times, you start to do the math. The risk of being misread slowly starts to outweigh the relief of being known. So they choose the silence. At least the silence stays accurate. At least nothing gets twisted in it. There's a real loneliness in that choice, and they feel it more than they let on. But it's a loneliness they can predict, and predictable pain is easier to live with than the kind that catches you off guard in the middle of trying to be open. It's not that they don't want to be understood. It's that somewhere along the line, they stopped expecting to be understood correctly. And once you stop expecting it, staying quiet just feels like the honest thing to do. So they nod along. They say it's nothing. They let people believe the easy version of them, because correcting it would mean opening the whole thing up again, and that's the exact risk they've been avoiding all along. 5. They test the water in tiny amounts. This is the one most people never even notice happening, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. They don't open the door all at once. They slide one small, true thing under it and watch what you do with it. A half joke about something that actually hurts. A passing mention of a hard time said lightly, almost thrown away while they watch your face for what it does. One sentence that costs them far more than you will ever know. And in that moment, they're reading everything. Did you lean in, or did you change the subject? Did you stay with it, or did you rush to fix it and move on? Did your eyes stay soft? If you flinch, even a little, the door closes, quietly, no announcement, and you'll probably never know it happened. You'll just feel, vaguely over time, that they keep things at a polite distance. They wanted to let you in. They were just checking if it was safe to. That offhand comment wasn't small talk. It was a test, and you were being read far more closely than you ever realized. If this is landing a little too closely, that's exactly the kind of thing this channel exists for. Subscribe, and we'll keep decoding it together. 6. They carry it alone because alone is familiar. There's a strange comfort in handling everything yourself, not because it feels good, because it feels known. They've carried their own weight for so long that being helped feels almost foreign now, like a debt they didn't agree to take on, like something they'll quietly have to pay back later with interest. So they say, "I'm fine," and what they mean is, "Please don't make me owe you anything." Underneath it is a quiet belief they picked up young, that love and support and closeness all come with a cost attached. That needing someone hands them a kind of power over you, and that power has been used before. So they stay self-sufficient, independent, often admired for how little they seem to need from anyone, and the whole time, a part of them is exhausted from never once being allowed to set the weight down. From being the strong one so consistently that no one ever thinks to check whether they're okay. The hardest part is that the strength is real, but so is the tiredness underneath it. And almost no one gets to see the second one. But the last truth is the one they'd almost never say out loud, even to themselves. 7. Underneath it all, they want to be known without having to explain. This is the deepest truth and the most painful one. They don't actually want to stay closed. They want to be understood without having to perform the open, to be seen all the way through, without the terrifying part where they hand you the words and stand there, waiting, while you decide what to do with them. They want someone to notice the thing they didn't say, to stay long enough to earn the door instead of demanding it, to make it feel safe before they're ever asked to be brave. And here is the contradiction they live inside every day. They long to be known more than almost anything in the world, and they have made absolutely sure that almost no one can reach them. Both things are true at once, the wanting and the wall. They built the wall to survive something back when they needed it, and now that same wall keeps out the very thing they quietly ache for. If you're someone who doesn't open up, none of this means you're broken. It means at some point, staying closed kept something soft inside you safe. That made sense once. It might just be worth asking gently whether it still has to. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to